Almander Zixthak had conquered 17 star systems. His chitinous exoskeleton bore the scars of 1,000 battles, each mark a testament to his supremacy over lesser species. Standing 8 feet tall with razor-sharp mandibles and forearms ending in claws that could tear through starship hulls, he was evolution's perfect killing machine. The Galactic Federation whispered his name in terror, the Vorthak Destroyer, apex predator of the Andromeda Spiral. So when the distress beacon led his warship to a small research vessel drifting near the Kepler Nebula, Zixthak expected another easy conquest. The ship's registry identified it as human, a species so new to galactic civilization that most databases contained only basic biological data. Bipedal, averaging 6 feet in height. Notable for their unusual persistence in pursuing prey across vast distances. Prepare boarding protocols. Zixthak clicked to his second-in-command. This shouldn't take long. The airlock hissed open, revealing a cramped corridor lined with strange, soft materials the humans apparently called carpet. Everything was built to a smaller scale, forcing Zixthak to duck his massive frame as he stalked forward. Plasma cannon charged and ready. The first human he encountered was a female, barely reaching his chest, wearing a white coat stained with what appeared to be food. She had the typical mammalian features: soft skin, forward-facing eyes, hair instead of proper armor plating. When she saw him, she did something completely unexpected. She smiled. "Oh, wow, you're magnificent," Dr. Sarah Chen exclaimed, completely ignoring the weapon pointed at her chest. "Look at that exoskeletal structure. And those compound eyes, absolutely beautiful. Are you here about our research?" "I hope so, because we've made the most incredible discovery." Zixthak's mandibles clicked uncertainly. In his experience, prey species typically screamed, begged for mercy, or attempted futile attacks. They did not compliment his anatomy or invite him to discuss research. "I am Zixthak the Destroyer," he growled, trying to regain the initiative. "Your vessel is now forfeit. Surrender or face—" Zixthak. What a fascinating name. The glottal stops suggest a linguistic evolution from clicking sounds, perfectly adapted for your vocal structure. "I'm Sarah, by the way. Dr. Sarah Chen, xenobiologist. Would you like to meet Pepper?" Before Zixthak could process this bizarre interaction, a small creature came bounding down the corridor. It was covered in brown and white fur, had 4 legs, forward-facing eyes like its human companion, and was making rapid panting sounds while its tongue lolled out. The creature, no larger than Zixthak's lower arm, took one look at the galaxy's most feared predator and began wagging its entire posterior section enthusiastically. "This is Pepper, our ship's dog," Sarah said, reaching down to scratch behind the creature's ears. "She's usually pretty good at reading people's intentions. Pepper, say hello to our new friend." Pepper approached Zixthak without hesitation, sat down directly in front of his massive clawed feet, and looked up at him with bright, expectant eyes. Her tail continued wagging against the metal floor with rhythmic tapping sounds. Zixthak stared down at the small creature. Every instinct told him it should be fleeing in terror, yet it sat there as if waiting for something. What does it want?" "Oh, she wants you to pet her," Sarah said cheerfully. "Dogs are social creatures. They form bonds with pretty much anyone who shows them kindness." Here, just gently touch the top of her head. "I don't understand," Zixthak clicked, his weapon lowering slightly. "I am a predator. I have destroyed civilizations. Why does this creature show no fear?" "Because she can sense that you're not actually dangerous to her," Sarah explained. "Dogs evolved alongside humans for thousands of years. They're incredibly good at reading body language and emotional states. Pepper can tell that despite all your scary armor and weapons, you're basically a good person at heart." Zixthak wanted to protest that he was not, in fact, a good person. He was a conqueror, a destroyer of worlds. But the small creature continued looking at him with those trusting eyes, tail wagging with unwavering optimism. Hesitantly, he extended one clawed hand toward Pepper's head. The dog immediately pressed against his palm, somehow managing to make her entire body wiggle with joy at the contact. Something unexpected happened in Zixthak's chest, a warm sensation he'd never experienced in centuries of warfare. "She likes you," Sarah observed. "Dogs have this amazing ability to see past surface appearances. They judge based on intentions, not looks. Pepper's probably the best judge of character I've ever met." As if to prove the point, Pepper suddenly flopped onto her back, exposing her belly in a display of complete trust and submission. She looked up at Zixthak with what could only be described as adoration. "By the void," Zixthak whispered, his weapon clattering to the floor as he knelt down. She's beautiful. Want to rub her belly? She loves that." For the next hour, Commander Zixthak, terror of 17 star systems, the Vorthak destroyer himself, sat cross-legged on a human ship's carpet, gently scratching a dog's belly while she made small, contented sounds and gazed at him with unconditional affection. When his second-in-command finally worked up the courage to check on his commander's progress, he found Zixthak completely transformed. The fearsome warrior was speaking in soft, cooing tones while Pepper had somehow managed to curl up in his lap despite the size difference. "Sir?" the subordinate clicked uncertainly. Zixthak looked up, his eyes bright with an emotion his crew had never seen before. "Cancel all aggressive actions," he commanded. "We're escorting this vessel safely back to Federation space. And send word to the fleet. We need to establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity immediately." "Sir, I don't understand. What happened to our conquest?" Zixthak looked down at Pepper, who had managed to fall asleep against his armored chest, still wagging her tail in her dreams. "I learned something important today," he said quietly. "Any species capable of creating creatures this trusting, this purely good-natured, cannot be our enemy. The humans didn't conquer me with weapons or threats. They conquered me with something far more powerful: unconditional love." As his warship changed course to escort the human vessel home, Zixthak made a mental note to request that all future diplomatic missions to human space include adequate supplies of something called dog treats. The galaxy would never be quite the same.